Hi guys, this is Matt Bauer with MyComputerworks. This is the first of hopefully many videos discussing tips and tricks on using your computer. Today's topic is a slow computer. There are a lot of reasons why you would experience slowness with your computer, but what you're going to want to make sure of is that the slowness is actually caused by the computer itself and not the internet speed. If it's the internet speed, you're probably going to want to call your internet service provider. That would be Cox, Qwest, Comcast, wherever you're at, whoever is providing your internet service. So if it's just the internet that's slow, you're going to want to call them. But if your computer itself is slow, running applications and things, there are some things that you can do to remedy that or to make it faster. So I'm gonna discuss those things here for you. The first thing that you can do, the most important thing probably, is to reboot your computer. So if you reboot your computer, chances are whatever was kind of stuck before will be unstuck now, and you can use your computer freely as you did before. One of the most important factors for speed in your computer is RAM, and that's random access memory. It's basically the short-term memory of your computer, whereas the hard drive would be the long-term memory, holding things kind of in the background, but the RAM is everything that you see on your screen. So if there's a low amount of RAM stored in your computer or installed in your computer, chances are the programs aren't going to have that much room to move around. It's going to take longer to get programs from the hard drive instead of filling up the short-term memory, the RAM. So recommended amounts for Windows XP for RAM is at least 512 megabytes, whereas Vista, the minimum, we generally say 1 gigabyte is good. Recommended for Vista is 2 gigabytes. That should be plenty of RAM for you. 1 gigabyte in Windows XP is usually more than enough. So that's great. And RAM is pretty inexpensive nowadays, and you can call one of our technicians. They can get you in the right direction as far as ordering new RAM. It's pretty easy to install as well. You can find documentation online on how to do that as well. To check the RAM in the system, you're going to click Start, right-click My Computer or Computer on Vista, and click Properties, and the amount of RAM is shown here. Startup processes, they can really slow down your computer. As you can see here, the startup processes will often have a logo or an icon on the bottom right called the system tray in that area. Startup processes can really slow down your computer to the point where it can take several minutes to boot up. Startup processes can also eat up RAM, which, as I discussed earlier, is very precious to your system. So it's good to keep the startup processes to a minimum, to the necessary startup processes. So unnecessary ones like WeatherBug, Real Player, QuickTime Player, those kind of things don't really need to start up with your computer. You can actually run those manually. So you can check a couple places here. Some of the startup items are going to show up in the system tray. They will be in a program called Startup, which is under Start, All Programs, Startup. For advanced users, you can use what's called SpyBot, which is a tool that MyComputerworks installs on our customer machines. And that has a tool actually that will allow you to check and uncheck or enable and disable startup processes. It's kind of a simpler interface than other ways of doing it. But be very, very careful. That's why I said it was for advanced users. Be very, very careful when doing that because you can end up unchecking or disabling something from startup that's very necessary for your system to function. So just be careful, and if you have any questions, go ahead and give us a call. Another way to cut down on RAM usage is to take control of your desktop icons by grouping them together into folders. The reason you would do this, every time your computer starts up, it has to load each individual icon, and that takes time and eats up RAM, which obviously it's precious to your computer. So by putting them in folders, it only has to load that folder graphically on the screen. And it helps to organize when you're making folders. Like if you have music files, if you have picture files, if you have documents, go ahead and make a folder. How you do that is you right-click any blank area on the desktop, go to New, then Folder, name your folder, go ahead and hit Enter. Then click and drag the icons into the folder, and you're done. You can also speed up your computer at least a little bit by defragmenting your hard drive. You may have heard this term before. Basically, when you use your computer, your computer has to get files from all over your hard drive, and those files can be left certain places and kind of are far away from their origins. And so next time the computer has to access those files, it has to get them from each of those places, which can be on both sides of the hard drive, so it will take longer. So obviously, logically, when you defragment your hard drive, what you're doing is putting all those pieces back together into one piece, so your processor only has to look one place to get the file. So to do this, all you'll do is click Start, All Programs, Accessories, System Tools, Disk Defragmenter. Go ahead and click Analyze to see how fragmented the hard drive is. It will show a message letting you know if the drive really needs to be defragmented. If so, go ahead and click the Defragment button to start the process. This might take several hours, so it may be wise to perform this procedure before going to bed, or if you'll be away from the computer for a while. So those are some ideas to speed up your computer, or to help speed up your computer if it's running slow. Of course, you can call My Computer Works to take an in-depth look at the slowness, but as I said, the first thing is to always try to reboot the computer, because that can fix a lot of issues, and you won't have to call in and wait in line for a technician to get back to you if a reboot's going to fix it. If you're not a My Computer Works customer, you can go ahead and give us a call at the number in the sidebar. And if you are a My Computer Works customer, you can go ahead and call our technicians at 480-240-9800 or 877-629-6972. Again, my name is Matt Bauer for My Computer Works, and we'll see you next time.